Tom Cruise is back with another Mission Impossible. And could it really be the final reckoning? Welcome to Movie World Plus, a place where we talk movies. I'm Andy Signor, and I'm here to review Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Now, before I start, I want to say I'm a massive fan of this franchise. I rewatched all the films before Dead Reckoning Part 1 with my son. It was such a fun rewatch. I really do like all of them. 2 is the worst. It's just silly. It's not the same tone. 3 really comes back and I feel like is underrated. Philip Seymour Hoffman as a villain is so good in that one by J.J. Abrams. And then things pick up. Ghost Protocol is a lot of people's favorites, but I really do like the Rogue Nation Fallout back to back. Rebecca Ferguson was a wonderful addition. She was in Dead Reckoning. Dead Reckoning, though, to me was a perfect like sum of all things. I really enjoyed it. My son and I left and we were like, I think that one might be my favorite Mission Impossible. So I was going into this Mission Impossible very high bar. Like, oh my God, I can't wait. This is going to be so amazing. I have to say, overall, I did enjoy the film. I'm giving the film a thumbs up. It is because of the back of Tom Cruise, who's hanging off planes and doing everything he's doing. But sadly, I am here to report it's not my favorite one of the franchise. You can tell that they were struggling with the scripts, with the budget, with the delays, because this film cost like $300-400 million, and it was delayed due to COVID, and then delayed due to the strikes. They had a ton of injuries. They had a ton of problems getting this movie across the finish line. And I applaud and respect that they do, because there are some great things in this film. It is well worth seeing in the biggest screen you have. But I do think you need to be prepared. It really is a sort of a best of summary of things. Like I would imply, because at least I did. I rolled a couple times, but I more enjoyed there's one part in particular I really enjoyed, a callback that plays into it becomes a bigger part of the film. But I will say it might be wise to go watch some of the films. You could probably skip 2. They do a pretty awesome, like previously on Mission Impossible montage opening to sort of remind you of everything he's done, the stakes, etc. It starts really strong, but the film does take its time. And I don't have a problem with that as long as the set pieces are worth it. The cast that they have this time around, it's good. Haley she's just not Haley. Is it Haley Atwell? She's just no Rebecca Ferguson. I was sad we lost. She was in Dead Reckoning for a little bit, but then we sort of replaced her with Haley Atwell. And no disrespect to Haley Atwell, it's just Rebecca Ferguson's a far better actress. Simon Pegg does his usual. Ving Rhames is back. I like Pom Klementieff. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. She's actually really fun and cool addition. She was sort of a bad guy turned good because if you remember in part 1, Tom spares her life and that sort of messes with her head. It's a good team. Things are going. And my gosh, Tom Cruise does the Tom Cruise things. He's hanging off the planes in a scene that's just absolutely bonkers. And again, I can't not give this film a good review just from the stunt. This sequence alone, just as a cinephile, as a person, filmmaker, thinking about because I've heard Chris McQuarrie, the director, explaining it, which I want to make sure you guys understand. Not only is he doing this stunt for real, Tom Cruise there in this plane scene, but he's flying the plane. He's setting it up to be lit. He's focus pulling. He's doing a ton of, when it's far away and they have another camera that can do it. There's other times though, when he's in the plane doing, he had to do it all. And it's just bonkers seeing him throw himself around this biplane. Is it a biplane? It's wild. It's like crazy. You're like, what are you doing? And it's what we come to expect and love about Tom Cruise. And I will say, I know there's a lot of people who don't like Tom Cruise. I like Tom Cruise. I don't like him as a dad necessarily. I don't like him as a Scientologist, but as a movie lover and actor and action star, I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan. I don't really care what he does in his personal life. It's not really my business. And I'm not going to judge him for it. I'm going to judge him by what he does and puts on the big screen. And I will judge you this time, Tom. And I don't think it's fully your fault because you really had a tough time getting this one done. This sequence is great. It's crazy. It's great. You're dangling and jumping off planes, but it takes a while to get there. And I would argue the big submarine section of the film, I probably would have cut it. They spent so much money on this submarine scene. And I got to tell you, I saw it with JB, my buddy JB. Hey, JB. And it's huge set pieces. He's crawling through submarines and doing all this stuff. And it just at a certain point, it's like, how many doors are we going to go through? How many sets did you need to make? Okay, we get it. He's swimming through a submarine and there's missiles that are going to go off. Is he going to explode in the middle of the movie? I mean, I know you got to suspend your disbelief and the tension, but this sequence, even if it was more complicated than I'm realizing, it didn't show as that on screen. All I saw was expensive sets, water, and him slowly swimming around from room to room to room to room to room, the sub. And I'm like, can we get something else? That sequence was a I don't know if it was just me. That sequence was a letdown, especially coming after the train sequence at the end of Dead Reckoning. This whole thing felt like a big bridge to get him to the submarine, which they clearly teed up from the first movie. And ultimately, I think they got stuck in trying to over deliver with this big stunt piece prop sets in the middle. And I don't want to spoil it, but my God, there's a point where he's just in that water and he does something. You're like, I know it's the Mission Impossible movie, but typically when I'm rolling my eyes in a Mission Impossible movie, I'm doing it out of excitement, like, oh my God, this is so crazy fun. And in this one, it's so serious. And so when they go to that sort of silly level of ridiculousness in this movie, I will say I wasn't as entertained as previous installments. I was a little bit more judgy because they're definitely upping the ante and the stakes and the seriousness of the film. And if you're going to do that, you really got to make sure that script is on point. And this script was clearly changing and having to adjust a lot due to delays and everything else. And I will say, hearing how expensive this movie was, Tom Cruise, you should have taken the note. This whole sequence, it could have been one set. Boom, I got in, we got the thing, we got out. And then give us something cooler. I don't think this was worth it. Well, there's a couple of cool parts in the submarine to get to another submarine, but I'll be honest, I was not as invested. Maybe I'll be in the wrong, but it's a lot of doors he's going through, and it's things going on in that water sequence. But back to the team. When the team does show up, it's fun, but it still doesn't have some, Benji, Simon Pegg, gets to have some sort of laughy moments, and there's some serious moments too. This is the final reckoning. Take that as you will. I'm not saying things are going to happen, but there's definitely a bookend to this, set of films, I would say. I feel like he's definitely decided, you know what? We've made 8 movies. Here they are. This is the Mission Impossible phase 1. Does that mean they're not going to make more Mission Impossible movies? Come on. Of course they're going to make more Mission Impossible movies. Now, will it be with Tom Cruise? Will it be with that crew? I don't know. But I don't think Tom Cruise is ready to turn it off just yet. And I suspect, from a producer standpoint, I'm not telling you what happens in the movie, but this movie does ring very similar to sort of a Daniel Craig Bond. To me, this one felt more like, because I would say I actually like Fallout Rogue Nation a bit more. It's a little bit more action-y. The stunt pieces are bigger than in James Bond. And it still is a little bit more fun than I would say the Daniel Craig James Bonds. This one feels a little bit more like a Spectre or something, where I'm just like, bigger set pieces still, but trying to get everything through the door, as much as they can. And I will say though, because I sound like I'm being negative, and I'm mixed on this one, but it's a positive because of Tom Cruise. He sells the movie. If it wasn't for Tom Cruise dangling from his damn plane, it might have been a different story. But he delivers. You can tell, and throughout the whole movie, he's trying his damnedest. And as a fan of this franchise, and just as a fan of cinema, I have to give this a thumbs up, and I highly recommend you see it because it's still good. It's just I put this franchise on a little bit of a higher shelf, and I can see some of the struggle. I can see some of the pains they probably had, and I am giving them a slight little pass, but I'm just slightly bummed because part 1 was so damn good for me, at least. I was excited, and this one gets a little bit. There's no real bad guy. There is this guy Gabriel who seems kind of mysterious and dangerous in the first movie, but in this movie, it's the bad guy really is a ticking clock and just a very mustache, and Gabriel has a mustache twirling, come and get me, and it was a little disappointing. I got to be honest. That, to be fair though, they've never really had a good bad guy, I would argue, and except for Philip Seymour Hoffman. The guy with the beard was pretty bad. I forget his name. Philip Seymour Hoffman was the best Mission Impossible villain of all time. Always will be. Man, he was vicious. That was a underrated movie. People should check out when Felicity gets her eye twitched. Oh my God. Mission Impossible, J.J. Abrams, shout out. You did a good job on part 3. You got things going up. So then when Brad Bird showed up for Ghost Protocol, we were on a track. And then we had that was a 4-movie run that was like boom, 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 boom. That set this 5-movie run that set this thing off. Dead Reckoning is a nice bookend chapter to it all with callbacks to the previous movies. So if you're a fan of Mission Impossible, do get excited. A lot of people in my theater even loved it more than me. I'm being a little picky, I'll be honest, but I'm still giving it a thumbs up, and I'm still recommending you check it out this weekend because he wants you to... Look, I love movie theaters, and you can tell Tom Cruise loves movie theaters. My gosh, he's doing a good job on the marketing campaign. I want to do a whole movie on the resurgence of Tom Cruise and how he was able to refix his image from being couch-jumping weirdo Scientologist to now, like, everybody loves... He's a pro lover of movies, Tom Cruise. Apparently, it was a whole mission in itself, and he's succeeded in my eyes. Maybe you don't like him as a person, but as a movie star, I can't knock him, man. He's making big, bang, awesome movies. And this one, I think they did crumble a little bit over the weight. It's a hard thing to hit that final note. And there's a couple parts where they do. There's a few parts they do. But overall, I wish it would have been a little bit better. I wish it would have been a little bit better. Wish they would have trimmed some stuff and maybe rethunk that submarine sequence that was very long. Hey, look, kudos. It looked, I mean, I see it's expensive, but sometimes just spending a bunch of money on the set doesn't mean it's going to be that good, actually, for the viewer. I want to know what you guys think. Are you excited for it? Also, what was your favorite Mission Impossible? I got to rewatch them again now, but I got to say, I think it's Dead Reckoning. I got to rewatch it. I did a whole thing, and it was surprisingly, I think it was Fallout and Rogue Nation were higher than I thought they were going to be. I do like them a lot. The first one also holds up a lot. First one's pretty fun. And 3, underrated. 2, it's silly. It's really silly. And they clearly ignored that one in this one. That's the one. Remind me, tell me if you noticed, did they cut to any shots from part 2 in the opening montage? It felt like every other movie is mentioned in a way, except for 2. But let me know what you think. Which one's your favorite? Are you excited for this weekend? Thank you guys so much for watching here on Movie World Plus, my movie channel where I review movies. So subscribe.